104.7 The Cave, Mike the Intern, Jay Stevens in the studio.
shit.
It is Dark Side of the Stream, episode number 75. Today's pick was Jay's pick, and he went with one that it wasn't a crazy, well, it was crazy in the sense that with the way he ended his life, but it was called Roadrunner. It was a story of Anthony Bourdain. If you didn't know, he lost his life
killed himself,
committing suicide while he was actually filming. I believe they were filming Parts Unknown in France when he did it. So they were actually on location in France doing his show. Parts Unknown when that happened, but Anthony Bourdain is a subject of that documentary Roadrunner. My first question to you, Jay, is: do you watch a lot of celebrity chefs? Do you watch Food Network, stuff like that?
No.
So why'd you pick Roadrunner?
Because I just knew he was an interesting cat.
You know, I
knew he kind of lived a full life. No, I only knew little bits and pieces about him, but I knew he was an interesting soul,
You say he lived a full life. I follow. It wasn't like I was a big, I was like, oh, Anthony Bourdain's man. Oh, I love this guy. I just agree with his life philosophy, and that is say yes to everything.
And I also like the way he writes.
He was an incredible writer, and we'll get into that stuff here in a little bit. But his life mantra, in my opinion, is what I believe, and mine is too, which is say yes to everything. I mean, this guy ultimately was a chef, right? Okay. He worked at some really good kitchens in New York. He's from Manhattan. So his grandparents are French. He was classically trained chef, and he was amazing. He knew he was amazing. He went to Culinary Institute of America, and then he ended up being an executive chef in the mid to late 90s at this really nice French restaurant in Manhattan. But he went beyond that. I mean, he became a writer. He was a columnist, and then eventually he got to be on this TV show where he literally just got to go around the world and experience so many different things.
Yeah.
So ultimately what I'm trying to tell you is, if you're listening to this, say yes. Well, don't be scared to be, I don't know if I want to try that. I'm not talking about injecting something or jumping out of a plane or doing something stupid like Jackass. I'm talking about if an experience comes along in your life where you have the ability to go try something, do it.
Yeah. I enjoyed too the fact that he was a late bloomer in life. He had nothing going for him at one point, drug addict.
Oh yeah.
Didn't have success till later in life. Way later in life. So
and
very late bloomer.
And it was all by chance. Yeah. I mean, all these things that he did that happened, it all was chance. The writing career, the television career, all that stuff was all it kind of just happened. And it goes back to what we always say is that there are so many talented human beings on this planet. It's just we're lucky that we get to do this, and who we are because of what we get to do. It doesn't mean that we're more talented or less talented than anybody else. It just means that we were in a position one day, someone said, hey, you want to talk in front of these people? And we're like, yeah, okay.
So you'd probably be good at this. And all right.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
Sure, yeah.
And then, in my case, 16, 17 years later, guess what? Yeah. I'm still doing it. This is Dark Side of the Stream. Yeah. It's Dark Side of the Stream. Jay and I still doing it on 104.7 The Cave. .7 The Cave, Mike the Intern, Jay Stevens back in the studio. Dark Side of the Stream, episode 75, discussing Roadrunner, basically the life story of Anthony Bourdain. And this was actually the first time, I mean, if you don't count our monthly subscriptions to,
services
that we have to use to get these documentaries, the first time that I had to buy one, and Jay had to buy one as well. But I thought it was worth the money. It might have
been the second time I had to buy one. But yeah, it was worth a couple bucks, hopefully it goes to his kid or something, trickle down or something. But yeah, it was good. One thing I really liked, because he was never really set out to be famous, right? And kind of was found a very weird road to fame. Mm-hmm. But when, he'd be walking around the streets of New York and people would come up, want a picture or want to talk to him, one of his friends said, how do you deal with all that? And he says, hey, if this is what my life is, this is what I do. This is what I do. I have to stop and take pictures of people because this is just my life.
And he was
a really good take on that.
Yeah. And that goes again, what I've always said. You're at the gas station. I don't care who you think you are. If someone stops you and says, hi, you talk to him.
Yeah, for sure.
We don't get to do what we get to do without you. So if
right,
you,
so
if you,
that's why when celebrities get like people like no
dude,
no
no, like,
pictures,
dude,
no
that makes
pictures,
you
no
so-
cameras, like no, dude, this is what you signed up for. This is what's paying your bills.
Jay,
it's part of the gig, man.
Jay will be my he'll be my alibi here. But what I have a piece of paper hanging in our studio that you walk in. It's by Henry Rawlings. And it's a speech talking about how you're no better than any other person. The people that got here before you to set this stuff up are as important and actually should be making your salary more than
money,
you should be making theirs. And that is something we live by here. You are better than anybody. And Anthony Bourdain was also that kind of guy. And I think the people that are outwardly kind like that in some cases are the ones that are hurting internally more.
Yeah, very trippy, right?
He was one of those people. Robin Williams was one of those guys where it's like almost like a flip-flop of projection. You hear it all the time where people will project, oh, we need to, this guy does this, or this is bad, and then all of a sudden come to find out they're the monster. Right? And whether it's a relationship or the girl's like, oh, you're gonna cheat on me, but she's the one that cheats on you. Or these guys are bad news. This music is hurting our children. Well, then turned him to find out he's been hanging out with a bunch of underage girls. We could go big or go home on this thing all day about projection. But my point is, there is also a good form of projection, and I think that's what Anthony Bourdain's was that he was internally just a volcano. So he was outwardly kind to everyone. I mean, obviously he had his moments, I'm sure, but like he was trying to be as real of a person as he possibly could be. And I think maybe his upbringing and all the things that he went through as a young adult and all that stuff probably grounded him
and stuff too.
Yeah, it grounded him for sure. But it's a definitely a crazy life. I mean, it's horrific. Well, we'll talk more about this stuff later because I don't want to bust it all out in just one segment. So we'll talk more. We're talking Roadrunner. This is Dark Side of the Stream, getting a little soft and serious today. Jay Stevens, Mike the Intern on 104.7 The 104.7 The K, Mike the Intern, Jay Stevens back in the studio. It is Dark Side of the Stream, discussing Roadrunner, the life story of Anthony Bourdain, which you have to purchase if you want to watch it, but it's definitely worth it, especially if you're into anything that he did, Parts Unknown, any of the stuff that he wrote, if you read it, Kinship Confidential, any of that stuff. He was an incredible writer, like Jay said. And if Jay Stevens says you're a good writer, that's a compliment because Jay does not read.
I don't read.
Jay don't read.
Yeah, you know what's a trip too? There is some controversy about this documentary. Did you look into that?
No.
One of the emails read in his voice was computer generated AI
using
him.
Oh, that's kind of
weird. I don't know if you want to pull it up. Yeah, there was some big controversy about this. That final email that he wrote, and he read on the documentary was.
I did not know
AI read that.
It was
in
well
his
done.
Voice. Yeah.
Very well done.
Right?
And scary as hell.
Especially
for two guys like us that literally have said probably every word in the English language on air.
You can make us say
recorded.
Anything. Yeah.
I mean, we'll probably be the first ones that are like, oh, we can just use the AI Mike and Jay going forward. So maybe we'll be around forever.
Put a fake face on us.
Can you imagine that? We'll just we'll be dead 50 years and we're still doing mornings. I'm still doing mornings. God,
just a computer-generated version.
They're like, how old is Jay? 120. He's been dead for 60 years, but you know what? At the same time,
he's still going strong.
He's still doing afternoons on the K forever and ever and ever.
Computer generate me to be a little more sexier, please.
But speaking of life, what I was going to talk about in the last one and kind of what I'm trying to push in here is, don't say no to anything. Say yes to life experiences, but one thing that I was trying to do early on and what I was doing here was like, I knew that this could be fleeting. Like I might not last forever. So take as much as you can. And that goes along with the saying yes, wring out every drop of life that you can wring out. And it is unfortunate what happened to Anthony in that he did take his own life at the age of 61. He looked incredible for his age.
Well, he was ripped. He joined jiu-jitsu at 48 at 58 or 59. He joined jiu-jitsu and started training and competing.
Hardcore dude.
Yeah.
Riding motorcycles.
That's hardcore, man. I joined late at 49. This dude joined at 59.
And he was in great shape.
Ripped.
Super cool dude. And it is what it is. But at the same time, look at what kind of life he lived in 61 years. You know what I mean? There are people that will go 120 years
never
that won't live
half that life.
1 year of life that he was able to live.
That's what I always say too. It's like if I die, I've lived a great life. I've lived the life of 10 men, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've done some crazy stuff. Dude,
absolutely. You can look at every period of your life and say that in itself is a life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, man.
And that is a great lesson to take. So, I mean, you watch this documentary and you see all the things that he did. And it's just, I mean, you can go on his Wikipedia page and it's so long, everything, TV, film, publishing, everything. It's crazy. I mean, it was even on Miami Ink, you know what I mean? So he did so many different things. Bottom line is he did so many different things because he loved life and he wanted to live life, but it's just sad the way his life ended up. We'll come back with our.
Do you think though maybe that he also did so many things to keep himself constantly doing something so that he didn't have to face the demons on the other side?
He wasn't in his room by himself.
Yeah,
it was just,
like I don't like to be in the room by myself.
Go.
I don't like to be alone in a room like for a long period of time. I prefer to be around people.
I'm also a people person. But there's a balance for me. Like I like to be at home with the family. I like to do family time.
But I'm talking about like alone.
Yeah.
Hotel room alone. I get a little sketched out. Like I prefer to have some people around.
I think there's a benefit to it at certain points, but I'm on the same I just like people. I like being around people. So I get that. But like, yeah, it goes back to what I said in the last break. It's all about projection. You know what I mean? Like he's projecting, he had so many demons that he was just projecting this love of life through what he was doing so that he can combat that. And you're right. I think it's just also he didn't want to go home alone. But he had women, and then you could make the argument that the last one he had wasn't the best one in the world, and I don't really want to get into that and throw mud on her.
Oh man, whoa!
She wasn't. I mean, it's just that's a fact, dude. If you look at what transpired between the two of them leading into his death, I definitely think she had something to do with it. But again, it's a sad situation. It really is, and that's the tough part about watching this documentary is you already know the ending. You know what I mean?
Right. You know, it's a trip because you're like, okay, I know what's going to happen. Yeah, it's like Titanic.
You know what's going to happen,
but just where does stuff start to go wrong, man? Because you see him just excelling in life and like just success.
He'd still be doing it.
Yeah.
It's
you never know, man.
It's a shame.
Hung himself.
Yeah. We'll get back to it. The end of this hard dark side of the stream. Jay, thanks a lot. Next on 104.7 The Cave. One 4.7 The Cave. Mike the Intern, Jay Stevens back in the studio discussing Roadrunner, the life and times of Anthony Bourdain, which again, if you haven't yet, download it, stream it, watch it. Guy was the man. Obviously not the way he ended his life, but at the same time, the way he lived his life is what you want to focus on.
Almost like legends.
Other than drugs and alcohol stuff, obviously, but I also want to get this out there. Mental health is a very crucial thing. And if you're going through mental illness, whether it's depression, anything, there are people that you can talk to. There is a 24-hour hotline you can call anytime, anywhere for free. You can talk to someone. I mean, if you reach out, you're not alone. You are never alone in this life. ever. Chances are your next door neighbor, your coworker, your friend, they're probably going through the same thing and or have gone through the same thing.
Somebody to talk to too.
Yeah, you're not alone.
have a beer, have a coffee.
Suicide is a very, very, in my opinion, selfish act. I've had family members commit suicide. I'll tell you right now, it's an extremely selfish act. So don't do it. Talk to someone, please. If anything, you come out of this, I know we're all, jokes about stuff all the time, whatever, drugs, sex, ha ha ha. It's funny. And we make fun of each other, but serious right now. If you're going through something, talk to someone. It's that easy. I would rather you still be here than not be here. And the same goes with Anthony. I'd tell him, I'd slap him in the face. I mean, there's so many different times where it's just like, you want to just like grab him and just say, what the hell are you thinking? But you can't. And that's the act that in it being selfish. So again, as far as my rating for this, I give this about 3.5 spatulas 4.
3.5 spatulas 4. Yeah, I'll go there. Yeah,
good. I mean, it didn't rewrite the wheel. I thought it was shot well.
The tale wasn't so crazy, but it was just interesting peek into someone's life, into an interesting person's life.
So rest in peace, Anthony. Thank you for what you brought to the world. Thank you for giving us some class when it came to food and in your writing and showing us different parts of the world that we probably would have never seen.
As they say, God needed a new chef.
Yeah, and he definitely got one hell of a one that's rocking it right now. So, as always, now it's my turn. I've been with my wife for a long time, and we were together before the whole Tinder thing came through.
Oh gosh, and I've never been on one of these either.
Never did any dating
I would love to make a dating app profile just to see
gender,
just to make a profile, just to see what goes on out there, man.
I'm sure that would go over well. So, documentary we're watching next week, The Tinder Swindler.
The Tinder Swindler.
That's what we're going to watch. It's on Netflix. Watch it between now and then so you aren't left out on the conversation, which you can always stream online, 1047thecave.com, on our 104.7 The Cave app, or on a smart device. As always, I'm Mike the Intern. This is Jay Stevens reminding you that we watch movies,
documentaries,
so you don't have to. It's Dark Side of the Stream on 104.7 The Cave.